So it's an absolutely bleak day here, gents. Just in my car mucking a bit, see if I can figure a few things out. So I've got my breakout box. It's hooked up to the DLC, of course, and I'm just in the 2 pins for the CAN bus high and low. And so the go button here. So there's the bus. My car isn't running, but the key is in the run position, so the bus is active. And I was just wondering about something here. Let me stop this data, just freeze it. Just pause it for a minute here. Step back. So, I mean, unless you have a decoder of sorts, and won't be having equipment that fancy anytime soon, this is pretty meaningless, right? I mean, other than the fact that you can see the bus is healthy, there's a symmetry and a normalcy to the signal itself, the high and low. That's all good. There's no issue with the car, so that much I knew. But I was just wondering, can you actually tell from each packet of data that actually goes across, is there any way to know where it's actually coming from? In a very simple way. And I think potentially there is. You look at that signature of the signal itself. That little on the leading edge there, that little spike. Let's look at the next packet of data. It's not there, right? Let's find something else. You look at this one, it's pretty much a textbook pulse, right? And this one has yet another anomaly on it. So, being the SX4, this is a very simple car by modern standards. I think there's only maybe half a dozen or 8 modules that are actually on the CAN bus. So, just a question. I don't know, but I suspect that each module that's talking on the bus here actually speaks in its own voice, so to speak. Everybody's got a distinctive voice. I suspect each one of these modules has a distinctive trace. Now, what good would this do? It wouldn't do you any good unless there was an issue with the vehicle and you had this on a database and you could figure it by isolating, pulling the power to each module, for example, and isolate it from the bus. And then you could rationalize, you could basically by elimination figure out which one was which, have this on file, and you'd know which module this is. Perhaps that's the ABS module. I don't know. I'm just giving you an example. Perhaps it's the engine control module. Perhaps that one there is the body control module. You know what I mean? Anyway, it was just kind of a thought that crossed my mind. I've not heard anybody mention it. I'm sure I'm not the first one to have noticed that. It's not practical unless you have a reference, of course. As I said, you have that detailed on a lookup chart somewhere where what module looks like what on the bus, and perhaps there's no real practical value to it. But yeah, just an interesting thought. Let me know what you think, boys, in the comments. Is this a waste of time? Is it useless? Or is it something that could be of some value?